I'm Thomas Warner, and this is a focusIR CEO interview with Ryan Mee from Fulcrum Metals, ticker FMET. Ryan, it is fantastic to have you on the line, and we've had some news from you today, another acquisition in Canada, and we will be getting to that shortly. But before we delve into the detail there, I wonder if I could just ask you about your announcement from last week on the uranium side. It was a disposal, obviously, quite different from today's news, and it did have a lot of detail in it. Some people in the market may have missed some of the most important aspects of that one. So perhaps you could just start by giving us the highlights there.
Yes, absolutely. I think you're right. I think the market did miss some of the key points in there. Now, we have an exciting gold and uranium portfolio, and they both need expenditures to give meaningful development. So it's really important for us to be able to focus on one key area. So this deal is also a dilutionary control measure for the company. We could have raised that capital in Canada. There was strong interest. But that would mean if we raised that money, it would dilute the portfolio of projects across the board. Now, we are focusing on gold. So it's important that we do this disposal so that we can focus on the core of the business. Terra are a fantastic outfit. They've got a really, really strong technical team. And in short, what this has delivered to Fulcrum shareholders is 3.3 million Canadian dollars in cash and shares. And also, Terra are going to spend $3.25 million on the assets. And in addition to that, Fulcrum retain a 1% net smelter royalty. And this could prove to be really material as those projects are advanced and discoveries are made. So we essentially, we have a combined carried interest on those projects. We have a funding partner for those projects, and we have that carried net smelter royalty. So it's a really strong deal for Fulcrum shareholders, and I'm really happy about that.
So in summary, Ryan, how happy do you think Fulcrum shareholders should be with the deal you managed to put together there?
They should be exceptionally pleased. I know I am. I know the board are. What we've managed to do is bring in a very strong technical partner to take these projects forward. And it means there's no dilution to our shareholder base. So, we're set there. We have the investment in the uranium sector. It's a very exciting sector. And it's one that we can benefit from without spending any further money on them.
So let's turn to today's news. You mentioned in your first answer there that you are firmly focused on gold, and it's the Sylvanite Gold Tailings Project in Ontario that you have announced the acquisition of today. It's more or less adjacent to the Teck Hughes Tailings Project nearby. So perhaps the first thing for you to do would be just to give us the rationale for the acquisition.
Yeah, I'm very, very pleased with today's news. Tailings, it's a low discovery asset. We know the gold there is historic mine waste. Now, the new asset, Sylvanite, is less than 3 kilometres away from the Teck Hughes project. And that significantly boosts how much gold we think is across these projects to around 200,000 ounces of gold. And that is very significant. The proximity of the projects means that we can look at how we may be able to co-mingle production or even do back-to-back production. So it adds significant depth and scale to what we're doing in Kirkland Lake.
So tailings is something that we do hear varied reports about, but obviously you have a particular interest in it because you are wrapped up and tied up in this technology. It's called extract, and this is probably something important for people to understand, isn't it, Ryan?
It is, absolutely. A successful tailings project is all down to does the technology work. Now, we have a technology partner in extract, and we know the technology works. They just a few months ago announced a partnership deal with Bechtel Engineering. They're a tier one, massive engineering company. So, whilst we're limited on what detail that we can provide to the market, that should provide some real comfort in that this technology works and it's ready there for us to deploy that across our project. So it's very, very significant.
So Ryan, as always with projects of this nature, risk is a key factor. There's no such thing as a free lunch or a guaranteed success anyway. So what steps are you going to be taking to make sure that this thing works and works for your shareholders?
Yes, so absolutely we'll be taking those precautionary measures. Teck Hughes at the moment is undergoing a 4-phase program, which will deliver significant metallurgy testing and testing with the technology. That will lead through, conceptual studies and then some further evaluation. We will do exactly the same with Sylvanite. Obviously, we've just brought this project on now, so what we'll try to do now is to try and dovetail these a little bit better so that we can correlate the evaluation of the projects. These two projects are so close together. We're creating the tailings hub, and we've got an exceptional technology partner. So we have a very structured program to deliver success on these projects.
So do you think there's scope for adding anything to that nascent hub?
You're absolutely right. Now, Kirkland Lake itself, it's produced over 24 million ounces of gold. You've got Timmins, which is an hour drive north. That's produced over 70 million ounces of gold. So the historic gold production is immense across this area. This is why we've targeted this area, because we know how substantial the historic mining is. So it's a phenomenal opportunity for us, and we're really excited to bring the second project in. And we know that there's substantial opportunities for us to develop out further.
So Ryan, you mentioned in your RNS that you are expecting some results from test work at that Teck Hughes facility. I believe that is expected before long. Do you have any indications about what people might be able to read in that update?
Yeah, so the first phase of testing will cover a full suite of tests. So that will include the grade of gold, the content in the tailings. It will include the mineralogy, the rock characteristics, and also the recovery grade of the gold. So it's an important study. We're really happy with how it's going so far. And I'm really looking forward to being able to update the market once we have those results, which I hope will be very shortly.
Well, we have had 2 updates from you over the course of the last week, and then before that, it was a relatively quiet winter. So do you feel like this couple of bits of news that we've just had from you will be the start of a real flurry as we head into the warmer parts of the year, at least in the Northern Hemisphere?
Absolutely. We've spent the last few months really setting the business up to flourish. So what investors can look forward to is the fruits of that. I expect multiple updates over the next month or 2. So investors are in for a very news flow driven period, which hopefully that will reflect in the value of the company.
Just finally, Ryan, why do you think that people should be adding Fulcrum to their watch list?
Well, we've demonstrated with the uranium portfolio that we can deliver value to shareholders, and that will not require any further funding from our shareholder base. So that's very important. We are now focused completely on gold. Look at the gold spot price over the last 6 months. It's gone from around $1,800, $1,900 to around $2,300 today. So we're in the right market. And what we're also doing is there's a real shift in emphasis in terms of the risk profile of the assets. Tailings are low discovery risk. We're in a low risk jurisdiction in Ontario. It's an established mining jurisdiction. We're in established mining towns in Timmins and Kirkland Lake. So what we're doing is we're trying to provide investors with a low discovery risk, a low jurisdictional risk, but high rewards. And we're very confident that we'll be able to deliver that. And the news flow should hopefully support that.
Let me wish you the very best of luck with it, Ryan, and thank you very much indeed for your time today.